Welcome to another Bible in a Year overview video. This is for October 16th through the 31st, and we'll be going through Ezekiel chapters 1 through 32 during these couple of weeks. He's a prophet among the exiles. So in Babylon, they've been, with Jeremiah, we heard of the destruction. Well, Ezekiel's, some of those that was taken into Babylon, and so he's a priest. Even though there's no temple, you can't offer any sacrifice. So this becomes a problem of the Israelites are like, well, how do we offer worship and stuff properly without any temple? And kind of Ezekiel pointing to their unfaithfulness, but there's this hope God's going to send them shepherds after his own heart. And really it's the sins in the temple, kind of liturgical worship, not following God's ways there, that kind of really ultimately in part led to the loss of Jerusalem, the destruction of Jerusalem. So these first handful of chapters of Ezekiel really kind of pointing to the unfaithfulness of God's people. And then latter part of Ezekiel, there's some elements of hope and stuff, but it'll later on in Ezekiel, we'll see the more hope-filled aspect of it, what God's going to do. But that's not till next overview video. Sirach, chapter 8 through 19, we worked through Sirach, and it has to do with more, which is dealing with others, refrain from sin and pursuing virtue, and then self-control. So things are pretty well organized, as I mentioned last time, versus kind of Proverbs where everything seems to be scattered everywhere. So these nuggets of wisdom. And then moving on to the New Testament, we have Colossians, which points to this kind of Christ as creator and redeemer, and his supremacy over all creation. There's some similarities with his Ephesians on that sense, but this completeness of Christians in Christ also is kind of part of Colossians, of Christians kind of are to live in the fulfilled covenants that Christ established. And so there's the completeness, this perfectness, this wholeness that living in Christ brings. Chapter 3 has a beautiful section of kind of a list of different virtues and such of those in Christ, those who live and abide in Christ. And then we have 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and these two letters, they really focus on, you could say, the eschaton, the end times, Christ's return, and there's hope. Kind of Paul kind of infuses it with hope. There's the problem of, well, great people have died, and before Christ's return, I guess are they goners? And Paul's like, no, they're not goners. All right, when Christ comes, those who have died will rise first, and then us on earth who remain will rise. He goes through these different things, and 2nd Thessalonians really deals with the aspect of there seems to be a group that's kind of stating that, well, it's already done. The second coming's come in some sense, and we can do whatever we want. And Paul has to say, no, you got it. It hasn't happened, and you need to be faithful to the commandments, to what God has given us, what Jesus has taught us. So very much of the kind of fighting against despair, but then also he's fighting against this presumption of those who are like, well, it doesn't matter, it's okay, we can do whatever we want. That's not hope, that's presumption. So he's kind of addressing, really, it's a kind of hope, of anchoring them of, okay, just keep the course. And then 1st and 2nd Timothy, we move into these letters that are toward individuals. So the previous letters of St. Paul have all been toward specific communities, churches. Now these next couple of letters that are mentioned, these two and then a couple more next time, are toward individuals. So we have Timothy 1 and 2. He's a bishop, and he's stationed in Ephesus at this time. And really it's you could say really he's encouraging Timothy of how to go about kind of administering and governing the people, kind of helping build up the Christians there. So we get kind of these two letters that Paul sends to Timothy, who's a young bishop and wondering, what do I do? I'm not with Paul, you're not with me anymore. And so Paul gives him encouragement, gives him some kind of words of advice. So those are the readings for these next 2 weeks, October 16th through the 31st. After Halloween, send me your questions, and I'll collect them and make a video and put it up. God bless.